do believe in Santa, don't you? Let's say you drop by. Put the fat guy out of business for good. Watch out for that mistletoe.
Hello, Ray Phoenix here. Welcome to Let's Play Twisted Metal 3 as Thumper, Part 2. So now, as we all know, this contest is always held on Christmas Eve of every year. Last time we went to Antarctica, which is the opposite of where we are now, the North Pole. We're going to find Santa Claus and put an end to his little toy factory, his toy business. But this game was clearly made for kids, right? Really dumbed down the demographic behind this game. The first two are definitely more for adults. This one seems very more kiddish. Considering the fact we go to the North Pole, come on, really think adults are gonna like going to the North Pole and destroying Santa? No, they obviously did this for the kids, right? You know, for the kids, right? There's these specters that's driving around trying to get away from me, but then I blew up Spectre right there. I'm surprised these cars could work as well in the North Pole, where it's probably like, I don't know, where it's really icy, where it's all icy and frozen. At least we don't have to worry about global warming like we did last time when the place was falling apart. Remember we went to Antarctica in the first game and the whole battleground kept falling apart? Well, we don't have to worry about that this time around. This time around, we're, you know, in the North Pole, the opposite of that, where it's much icier and much, you know, well, because Santa lives here, of course. I don't know, maybe Santa Claus did something to make the place more stable. He even has his own special weapon in the center of the battleground. He has his own special weapon where he uses an environmental attack there. And one of the biggest gripes people have with this game is that they got rid of Thumper's iconic weapon, his iconic flamethrower weapon. They gave it to a new contestant in this game called Firestarter. And instead, Thumper was given like some sort of like wave, like some sort of like sonic wave thing that makes like maybe like some sort of like hip hop beat kind of thing when it's activated. It does a lot. It's still pretty useful. It pushes the enemy away and it does a lot of damage to them, but still nowhere near as good as the flamethrower. Thumper's iconic flamethrower weapon, which has a crapload of damage against any opponents that stand right in front of it. So yeah, it's more the reason why why people don't like Twisted Metal 3, because people think Twisted Metal 3 is a big joke, especially the way Thumper is. Thumper is a complete mockery to how he was in the first two Twisted Metals. Completely goes against what Thumper stands for. So now we're going against Firestarter. Yeah, Firestarter, that's revenge for stealing her special weapon. He must be numb cold because his whole top body is exposed right there. But actually, it's probably more because he's Firestarter. He has fire flowing from him. He's probably warm and hot all the time. He probably doesn't have to worry about, getting icy or frozen or something like that. And so all that's left is Hammerhead. People think Hammerhead's a real joke in this game because Hammerhead's driven by an old lady. And before, Hammerhead was always driven by high school dropout stoners. But this time around, they made Hammerhead driven by an old lady that just wants peace. Like the kind of that would complain about stuff like, my neighborhood used to be good, but now Twisted Metal came and ruined it for everyone. All them teenagers and their rock music and all that stuff. You'll end up on your hind wheels a lot of the time in this game too, like standing upwards a lot of the time too, which is really annoying because part of the way the physics engine works in this game, which is more of the reason why people don't like this game. I personally like this game. I think this is a pretty good game overall, but I can see why some people don't like this game, why some people think this game sucks. I just personally understand why I would say so myself. So, yeah, Hammerhead didn't really stand much of a chance against us there. Because we're a Thumper, no one can beat against Thumper. Thumper's is the greatest competitor, the greatest contestant in this game.
Not for long. I know everybody but you now. Say hi to an old friend of mine.
And so now we're driving around the beautiful streets of London. Where else will we drive around? We terrorized Paris last time, so this time around we're going to terrorize London, because why not? What else are we going to terrorize? Whatever big complaint people have in this game is that you can really destroy your opponents. Not destroy them, you can get them like badly damaged, but they're going to go, because then they magically know where all the health refills will appear, so they'll just go and pick up a health refill when it's time, and then they're full of health again, even though you spent the last 5 minutes destroying them. But the good thing about that is that most of the enemies in this game have weak shields. Really, it's easy to load up a lot of weapons, to stock up on weapons in this game, and then use them against your opponents easy, and you could kill a lot of them in only a few minutes. This game is kind of how this game is. So yeah, I guess that's pretty, yeah, I guess it works now. It kind of makes up for how it's really easy to recover health. It's nothing like it was in the first game where the health where any damage you do to your opponents is, permanent, because And because you had to drive into that thing to refill your health in the first game, and well, I don't even think it was possible for the computer opponents to go into those things in the first game. Boy, this game could be more like it. Maybe more people wouldn't complain about this game as much if it were more like that. The thing is, I know where I play this game enough, I'm familiar with this game. I know where all the health refills are. I know there's one that's going to spawn right here in about 2 seconds. I'm just going to wait here. I'll shoot some Rico bombs back out there. Destroy them. The Rico up there. You see, look, the health thing just magically appeared for me. Right there, right on the spot. And it looks like some of my remaining enemies are low on health too. Like there's Warthog, my ever favorite contestant. And we saw Warthog. Well, I played as Warthog in Twisted Metal too, and right now Warthog just wants a head to go with the body that he won in Twisted Metal 2, which is what we saw in my last LP of Twisted Metal when I LP'd Twisted Metal 2 as Warthog. And it's also interesting too, when enemies get destroyed in this game, you can see an explosion forms around them and it actually damages you if you get close to it. It's actually possible to get killed by that too, making Twisted Metal 3 the only Twisted Metal game where it's possible to get killed from the explosion of another car. And so, Mr. Grimm is still weak as he's always been, because, Mr. Grimm is, the weakling of the Twisted Metal series. I've always wondered why Mr. Grimm was so popular. Apparently Mr. Grimm's one of the most famous, the second most famous character in Twisted Metal. He's a really famous, popular character, and yet, I always wondered why. He's so weak. I was never really a fan of Mr. Grimm. Sure, he has a really good special weapon, he's really fast. What's good is that when he keeps getting himself killed? And there's Sweet Tooth. Sweet Tooth works exactly the same. Well, in terms of how you unlock him, he's pretty much the same as he was in Twisted Metal 2. You have to find a special code. Heck, there isn't even a special code anywhere in this game to unlock Sweet Tooth. The instruction book says you unlock him if you beat the game with any of the characters. I've done that several times over, and I never unlocked Sweet Tooth by doing that. So that means the instruction book is full of crap. The instruction book for this game is lying. Someone actually encouraged me to post in a forum that that's wrong, but I only doubt anyone cares about a game that came out 23 or 24 years ago. In the PS1, now it's easy to unlock Sweet Tooth using codes. Just press left, 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 right, right, I think, or is it right, 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 left, left? I know, it's one of those things that unlocks Sweet Tooth.
Look out behind you. My old buddy Minion is hot on your trail. Smart Orchid will be sure to work him.
This game really messed up the lore of Twisted Metal. Minion was never Calypso's friend. Calypso and Minion hate each other. Minion had a strong grudge against Calypso in Twisted Metal 2, and this game to make it seem like, oh, they're good friends, they're good old chums kind of thing. The people that made this game, like I said, they really didn't understand the lore of Twisted Metal. They don't even think they knew what lore was, what Twisted Metal lore meant. They didn't understand what anything meant in this game. At least they got, well, people always say, oh, they got Twisted Metal completely wrong. But let's look at it this way. At least they did some things right. At least the game doesn't feel like you're driving on ice like it did in the first two games. Some things are improved in that sense. And also, at least they stayed true to it being a car combat game. But, they could have not known so much about Twisted Metal to the point where they would have made it a racing game. A lot of people don't know Twisted Metal seem to think it's a racing game, but it's not. It's a car combat game. At least they didn't make Twisted Metal a racing game. That could have been a lot worse. I don't even know what Twisted Metal would be like if it were a racing game. I can't imagine that. It's just something it's not. Because there's some things that are never meant to be, conceived by mankind. A racing game like Twisted Metal? No, Twisted Metal is always a car combat demolition derby game.
Oh, how I love the rooftops of Tokyo. Such a high-tech city. It's too bad the volcano erupted and flooded the streets. Have a nice time. And be sure to check out what's on the satellite.
And so Single Track was still around when this game was made, even though they didn't make this game. They got bought out by GT Interactive. So, but they actually did make a car combat game to compete with this game, and it's called Rogue Trip Vacation 2012. It's like Crazy Taxi mixed with Twisted Metal. I might do a Let's Play of that game eventually, if I learn how to get good at it. There's a lot of parts of that game that make you want to rip your hair out. The game's really abysmal how it combines Twisted Metal with Crazy Taxi. I'm not even sure if Crazy Taxi was a thing yet when that game was made, so they may have actually done Crazy Taxi first, which would make the Sega people seem like hypocrites. So apparently they sued the people that made Simpsons Road Rage for it being too much like Crazy Taxi, when they know concepts are not copyright. Apparently they won the lawsuit too, which is why Simpsons Road Rage got pulled from shelves. That's on the Simpsons wiki. I have no idea if that's true or not, but that's what I've read. See, the internet's full of crap. And like I said, the concepts are not copyright. You can't sue someone for stealing the concept. People made Twisted Metal never sued GT Interactive for releasing Rogue Trip Vacation 2012. If with car combat, the idea is not really copyrighted. There's even another game called Destruction Derby, which is just simply a demolition derby game. You don't get any weapons or anything. It's realistic, which is what a demolition derby is like. It's a realistic battle car game kind of thing. Battle cars. Apparently that was another beta name, I think, for Twisted Metal at one point in time. A lot of the time, too, the secret moves that you get in Twisted Metal 2, where you can, like, freeze or jump or use shielding. There's no shielding in Twisted Metal 3. You can still jump and things like that in this game. There's still freeze shots. It's really easy to accidentally trigger a freeze shot. Most of the time I fire freeze shots and jump, it's unintentional most of the time, because the controls are too sensitive. They probably figured, well, in Twisted Metal 2, you had to press the buttons like over and over again from the work. It was very unresponsive. So they thought, let's fix that by making it more sensitive. Yeah, they made it so sensitive to the point where it accidentally gets triggered all the time as well too. And it wears out your energy unintentionally a lot of the time. That's probably, and then they fixed that and they made Twisted Metal 4. Because Twisted Metal 4, it's more like it was in Twisted Metal 2. And they probably, by the time they made Twisted Metal 4, they probably figured, oh, this is just like, well, Twisted Metal 2 had it really hard. It's that hard to get the combinations correct. But everyone loves Twisted Metal 2, so let's just stick with what everyone knows, right? Yeah, I guess it kind of makes sense on their part. And ramming doesn't really do much damage against your opponents. You can still ram into them. This game doesn't really do much against them. And so Roadkill's destroyed. Roadkill's the first character I attacked, the first opponent I attacked in this battle. It was also the last I attacked before the regeneration starts. And everything people hate about this game is how regeneration. It's like what? They couldn't have all the enemies come at you all at once. They had to do regeneration. There's 2 enemies now, and there was like 4 enemies earlier. There would be 6 enemies in total. Twisted Metal 2 had like 8, had to be played against up to 9 enemies at a time. So why couldn't they do that in this game? It would have made sense for them to be able to do that in this game, but for some reason they couldn't do that. That'd use some sort of regeneration mechanic, which didn't really make much sense at all. As I keep saying, since when did Twisted Metal 3 ever make any sense? Twisted Metal 3 doesn't make any sense, and my car is badly beat up, as you can see. I'm about to get killed. And Firestarter wants revenge on us for killing him earlier. So it's only natural that we're gonna have to kill Firestarter before he kills us. Because that's how you win Twisted Metal, right? You have to kill them before they kill you, before, the person you're playing as gets killed, the car or whatever. But then again, people seem to survive in this game. Like, Bruce Cochran's been in Twisted Metal 1 and 2. Somehow he survived the first Twisted Metal, yet he didn't win for some reason. I don't know how that is. I thought you had to be killed, or it means if you lose Twisted Metal, it means you'd be dead. But apparently not. People can lose and survive somehow. I don't know how that happens, but somehow it happens in this series. Because even the canon games don't even make much sense either. This is Ray Phoenix, signing out.